A Jeopardy! Contestant has caught Ken Jennings off guard with a plot to swing the next Tournament of Champions in his favor. On Wednesday's first of two Champions wildcard finals, contestant Sam Stapleton made his intentions hilariously clear. Former champion Ken, 49, is hosting the Champions wildcard tournament for former brief winners instead of regular episodes. Sam, a two-time season 37 champion, who advanced after a controversial ruling against rival Lawrence Long, faced three-time season 37 champion and math whiz Josh Sock and three-time season 37 champion Lucy Ricketts, who won Tuesday's game in a stunning runaway. The three finalists are vying for $100,000 and a slot in the 2023 talk, where an additional $250,000 could be theirs. Their scores tonight and on Thursday would determine the overall winner, who would then go directly to the talk. I've been giving this a lot of thought. During the interview segment, Ken asked Sam, "What if you make it to the Tournament of Champions? What if you're the one of the three who makes it? What's your plan?" Sam said, "I've been giving this a lot of thought, and my plan is to systematically and deliberately convince all the other players that the tournament is happening 2 weeks later than it actually is." Ken burst out laughing as Sam explained that he would be left the only competitor and by default the winner. He added, "You and I are going to just kick back and have a good time." Ken threw his hands up in surrender and responded, "We've never had a forfeit win on Jeopardy! I don't know what the score would be." The host added, "That's like when you say, 'Hey, members of my party, don't forget to vote Tuesday. Members of the other party, please vote next week.'" Popfly Final Jeopardy! Going into Final Jeopardy, Sam had $12,600, Josh had $16,600, and Lucy had $9,200. Final Jeopardy was under the category Natural Landmarks and read, "The Washburn-Langford Doan expedition happened upon it in 1870 and named it for the regularity of its activity." No one had trouble guessing the answer was Old Faithful in Yellowstone National Park. Sam bet $2,600, giving him $15,200, which pours over into Thursday's score. Lucy added $5,000, giving her $14,000, $2,000. And Josh bet the most at $8,600, giving him $25,200 and the edge. The stage was quiet as Ken remarked, 3 for 3, before reminding viewers of the format. "We will be adding these scores to whatever you accumulate tomorrow. This is not over." Fans were frustrated because the match's winner, and who could be the first wildcard winner, depended on who bet the most. One fan wrote on Facebook, "I thought Final Jeopardy was supposed to be difficult." Another agreed, "I thought it was easy as well. But it's always easy if you know the answer." A third viewer wrote on Reddit, "It is strange that they would have such a Popfly Final Jeopardy in the finals when most of the other ones in this tournament ranged from difficult to you either know it or you don't." Possibly the producers wanted to make sure all three contestants had respectable scores going into round 2 so one person wouldn't have a runaway by the end of the Jeopardy round. A fourth person wrote, "Simple Final Jeopardy." And a fifth hoped, "I think tomorrow's Final Jeopardy is going to be a lot tougher, which makes wagering even more important and finding the daily doubles." What is Champions Wildcard? Champions Wildcard has invited back a massive 108 past players and runs until December 18th. It includes the 3 winners from the Second Chance tournament, which kicked off season 40 last month. Once the first round's winner is declared, the slate will be wiped clean, and 3 more rounds will occur. There will be 4 winners by the time Champions Wildcard ends, each going to the 2023 talk, featuring the likes of Chris Panulo and Hannah Wilson, which begins airing on December 19th. Since the season 40 premiere last month, Jeopardy! Has been pulling contestants from past seasons and using old clues and clues that were previously written but never aired. This was a way around the writers' strike, which concluded 3 weeks ago. Aside from not having new contestants or new questions, another big change to season 40 is the co-host arrangement. Ken is hosting almost the entire season solo, and mayim Bialik, 47, is not involved as it stands. She bowed out as a member of SAG-AFTRA, a big shakeup since she and Ken were tapped to split hosting after Alex Trebek's death in 2020. It's not for me to personally judge anyone else's decision, but I am a union supporter, Mayim told Vanity Fair last month in her first public statement. Even in light of the now-resolved WGA strike, Mayim nor regular contestants will be back for quite some time. Execs recently explained the updated timeline on the podcast Inside Jeopardy. That formerly postponed tournament play, namely, the 2023 talk, is the #1 priority, and we will have 16 weeks of regular episodes at the end of the year. That means we won't see new contestants until April. Because Mayim doesn't host tournament play, that's when she will most likely return. One person recently reacted on Reddit, apparently, we're not getting any regular Jeopardy until April 2024. Nearly 2/3 of this season will be tournaments. So yeah, way too much. Oh my god, is it really until April? That's absolutely wild, wrote another. Tension gripped the Jeopardy set as Ken Jennings eyed the board with suspicion. One of the contestants, a quirky librarian named Doug, had raised eyebrows all game. He dominated the early rounds with surgical precision, nailing complex categories in a way that made Jennings wonder if something was off. As Doug cruised into Final Jeopardy, fans noticed his behavior change. He began fiddling with his buzzer, mumbling something under his breath. Was this his master plan unfolding? In the lead-up to Final Jeopardy, Doug's smirk had everyone on edge. "I've cracked the code," he whispered to the other contestants, who exchanged nervous glances. Ken, picking up on the vibe, raised an eyebrow, but carried on as usual. The final category, World Landmarks. Doug's excitement was palpable. "This is it," he muttered. Jennings could feel the tension as Doug scribbled furiously, certain his master plan would work. The final clue came. This famous French landmark, completed in 1889, stands over 1,000 feet tall. An easy one. Too easy, even for a Final Jeopardy question. Doug's pen stopped midair. His face fell. The other contestants, wide-eyed, swiftly wrote down their answers, clearly relieved by the softball clue. When the responses were revealed, Doug's face was frozen in disbelief. He'd miscalculated, expecting a much more difficult question that would allow him to rig his lead by underbetting. Instead, the easy clue dismantled his whole plan. Ken Jennings, trying to stifle a laugh, shook his head. "I guess the rigging didn't work out this time," he teased, awarding the victory to another contestant. Doug, frustrated, muttered, "Next time, Ken, next time." The crowd erupted, while Jennings just smiled, glad that no contestant could outwit the natural flow of the game.